The arena breathes before the first punch is thrown. Thousands packed shoulder to shoulder, the lights cutting through a haze of anticipation, the sound of applause rolling like distant thunder. This is not just another fight night. This is a collision of pride, of nations, of philosophies. In one corner from the United States, Juan "Baby Bull" Diaz, young, relentless, a champion built on volume, pressure, and an engine that never seems to stall, a fighter who drowns opponents beneath waves of punches, whose style feels less like boxing and more like a storm. In the opposite corner, from Mexico, Juan Manuel Marquez, the master technician, the counterpuncher, forged in the fires of legendary wars. A man who has tasted the canvas against Manny Pacquiao and learned from it, refined by adversity, sharpened by experience. This is youth versus wisdom, pressure versus precision, brute force against calculated violence. The crowd knows it. You can feel it in the air, that electric stillness before chaos. Trainers give final instructions, gloves are adjusted, mouthpieces are seated, and when the referee calls them forward, the applause swells into a roar. This isn't just about belts or records tonight. This is about identity, about proving whose way of fighting survives when two worlds collide. As the bell rings, history takes its first breath, and both men step forward, knowing that once this begins, there is no turning back. From the opening seconds, Juan Diaz does what Juan Diaz has always done. He advances. No hesitation, no feeling out. He brings pressure like gravity, dragging Marquez backward inch by inch. Left hooks thud against arms and ribs. Straight shots find their way through narrow gaps, and already the pace feels suffocating. Marquez fires back in flashes, sharp jabs, quick right hands, glimpses of the brilliance that has defined his career. But Diaz refuses to slow. He lowers his head, tightens his defense, and digs to the body with cruel intent. The crowd rises as exchanges explode along the ropes, leather snapping against flesh in rapid succession. A massive left hook from Diaz snaps Marquez's head, and for a moment, the champion from Mexico looks shaken. Marquez responds with discipline, snapping straight punches to halt the charge, but Diaz keeps coming. The early rounds are a test of will. Can Marquez establish his counter-punching rhythm, or will Diaz's youth and volume overwhelm him before that rhythm ever forms? Each exchange feels dangerous, every second louder than the last. The fighters trade momentum back and forth, like gamblers throwing chips into the center of the table. There are no clinches, no pauses, no breathers. Just movement, impact, and relentless intent. As the round ends, the message is clear. This fight will not be slow, and it will not be kind. As the fight settles into its middle rounds, the true nature of the battle reveals itself. Diaz continues to stalk, cutting off the ring with quiet intelligence beneath his aggression. His left hook becomes a weapon of attrition, not just thrown once, but doubled, tripled, buried into ribs and followed upstairs. Marquez, forced onto the ropes more often than he'd like, begins adjusting. He blocks, slips, and times Diaz's forward momentum, sneaking in uppercuts and straight rights that snap Diaz's head back. The crowd gasps as Marquez lands clean, reminding everyone why experience matters. But Diaz absorbs it, nods, and steps forward again. This is his world. Chaos, pressure, volume. Every time Marquez tries to breathe, Diaz steals that air with another combination. The fight takes on the feel of a war of erosion. Neither man dominates completely, but the exchanges are violent, constant, unforgiving. Blood begins to show. Sweat flies with every impact. And still, neither fighter backs down. The crowd is fully standing now, chanting, roaring, feeding off the violence unfolding in front of them. This is no longer a chess match. It's a test of endurance, intelligence, and heart. Each round chips away at both men, and somewhere beneath the roar, You can sense it. Something is building. Something is about to break. By the later middle rounds, fatigue creeps in like a shadow. Diaz's pressure never stops, but the rhythm shifts. Marquez begins finding openings, subtle ones, almost invisible to the untrained eye. A dropped hand, a predictable step, a moment where Diaz's aggression outruns his defense. Marquez starts threading uppercuts through the middle, sharp and sudden, snapping Diaz upright. The crowd reacts instantly, sensing the change. Diaz still throws in volume, still lands, but now Marquez's punches carry a different weight. They are cleaner, sharper, more purposeful. Each counter lands like punctuation at the end of Diaz's sentences. The ropes creak as both men are pressed into them, exchanging at close range, neither willing to concede an inch. The sound inside the arena changes. No longer just cheers, but disbelief, admiration, fear. This is elite fighting, pushed to its limit. Diaz's face begins to show wear, his breathing heavier, his pace just slightly slower. And Marquez, calm amid chaos, reads the moment like a book he's studied his entire life. The tide doesn't turn all at once. It never does. It turns inch by inch, punch by punch. Then comes the turning point. Sudden, violent, unmistakable. Marquez times Diaz perfectly, unleashing a thunderous uppercut that explodes through the guard. Diaz crashes to the canvas, shock rippling through the arena. The crowd erupts, some in disbelief, others in wild celebration. Diaz rises, heart on full display, refusing to surrender. But the momentum has shifted. Marquez smells it. He steps forward with ruthless efficiency, ripping hooks to the body, forcing Diaz's elbows down, setting traps with every movement. Diaz fights back on instinct, throwing combinations fueled by pride more than precision. The exchanges become desperate, brutal. Each punch feels like it could end the night. Marquez remains composed, eyes locked, calculating. Another right hand lands clean. Another body shot drains what remains in Diaz's legs. The referee watches closely as Diaz staggers, still swinging, still refusing to fold. This is the difference between a very good fighter and a great one, knowing exactly when to press and when to finish. With less than a minute remaining, Marquez delivers the final sequence. A crushing right hand lands flush, followed by another. Then another. Diaz's resistance fades under the storm. His guard drops just enough, and Marquez detonates a final, merciless punch. Diaz collapses, the fight ending in a heartbeat of violence and silence. The referee waves it off, arms crossing as the crowd explodes into deafening applause. This is not celebration alone, it's recognition. Recognition of greatness. Marquez stands over the fallen warrior, chest heaving, eyes calm, having once again proven that experience, timing, and intelligence can tame even the fiercest pressure. Diaz is brave. Diaz is talented. But tonight, he has met a master. As Diaz rises, aided by his corner, there is no shame in his eyes, only exhaustion and respect. He gave everything, and Marquez, ever the professional, acknowledges it with a nod. The crowd continues to roar, understanding they've witnessed something special. This wasn't just a knockout, it was a lesson. A reminder that boxing is not only about power or volume, but about adaptation, patience, and execution under fire. Marquez has once again walked through chaos and emerged victorious. His legacy strengthened, his name etched deeper into the sport's history. The announcer's voice cuts through the noise, confirming what everyone already knows. Winner by knockout, and still champion of the world, Juan Manuel Marquez. The applause rains down as he lifts his gloves, a warrior standing tall after another unforgettable war. Around him, the arena buzzes with reverence. This was a fight that had everything: youth, experience, violence, heart, and truth. A night where styles clashed, where momentum swung, where courage met precision. And in the end, the man who understood the storm better than anyone else survived it. The lights dim, the crowd slowly exhales, and another chapter in boxing history is written. Not in words, but in fists, sweat, and resolve.